Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having a great weekend, great Saturday morning. Obviously, recording this on the morning of January 7th. Here to give you some NBA player prop best bets for today. So we got 2 NFL games. We also have 5 NBA games. So some good plays for us to lock in. Of course, finding all of these plays using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page. I have like 5 or 6 plays on here that I really like. So we can get right into it. The first play that I am going to lock in here is Jaylen Brown under 2.5 made 3-pointers. This bet is at -109 odds at BetRivers. So the reason why this, first of all, the reason why I know this is a positive EV bet is because it's bolded and has the rectangle around it. So when you're looking on the positive EV page, this is basically a siren saying, hey, bet me, this is the profitable bet. The one that's bolded and has the rectangle around it. The reason why this one is mathematically profitable is because of these odds you see right here. So the no vig odds in this column here, they're pulled from the sports books that are historically the most accurate at pricing odds, right? The sharpest sports books in the world. Price this play at about just below -115 at -114.73. So you see how there are like wide ranging odds here. We see -109 to -113, all the way up to like -146 and -151 for the same exact play. So you're not like getting any higher or lower chances of the bet hitting. It's the same exact play with odds that have like almost a 40-cent difference between the two. So with that wide of a gap between the odds, like I said, for the same exact play, inherently one of those has to be incorrect. It doesn't make sense for there to be that huge of a difference between where odds price the same play and have them both be correct. It would be like if 2 stock exchanges one had Apple at $300, one of them had $200 per share. They both of those prices can't accurately reflect the market, right? One of them has to be right, one of them has to be wrong. It's the same thing with sports betting in that some of these sports books are better than others at pricing odds, just like some stock exchanges are considered more reputable than others. So what OddsJam did was test thousands of previous betting opportunities to determine historically, more often than not, who is the correct one. And those numbers, those odds, feed into these odds you see here. So these odds can be viewed as the true line of what a market should truly be priced at, which again is at -115. So that's the profitability behind this one, why the positive EV betting tool is such a valuable tool. You're basically, if you kind of look at it from a holistic view, you're basically saying, hey, these X amount of sports books consistently do the best job at pricing odds. We're going to use them to set the market and then find sports books that are giving us a higher payout than these no vig odds. That's going to be profitable. So in this case, that's exactly what we have on Jaylen Brown under 2.5 made 3-pointers -109 odds. So then what you want to do, because you could just look at a play and immediately say, okay, it's on the positive EV page. I know there's value associated with it. So the additional work that I recommend doing just to make sure that you're placing the best of the best is if you click open a play, which is what I have done here, it pulls up where all the other sports books price this play. So what you want to do is find the bet that you are placing. So Jaylen Brown under 2.5 made threes -109. Jaylen Brown under 2.5 made threes -109. So you want to compare the odds of the bet that you are placing to the rest of the markets. You want to make sure that the bet you are placing is an outlier across every other sportsbook. The reason why, if every other sportsbook except the one you are betting has this play as more likely to occur, the most logical scenario here is that those majority of sportsbooks are correct and the one that you are betting is just a mispriced line, right? Like I said, not every single sportsbook is going to have the correct odds 100% of the time. So you just want to make sure that the bet you are placing is an outlier. Because if you look at it just from a logical scenario, and you're not even talking about sports betting, you're just saying, hey, let's say pretend there are 7 sports books, right? 6 of them have something priced one way. One of them has something priced the opposite way. What's more likely, that the 6 of them are correct or that the one is? The most likely thing is that the majority are correct. So for this play, we see BetRivers at -109. FanDuel's kind of close at -113. You can put those two, they're both close. But look at every other book. -145, -151, -140, -140, -137, -143, -146. Every other sportsbook has odds at a minimum I don't know, 35 to 42 cents higher, or 25 to 32 cents higher than every other book. And then specifically with player props, there are two really sharp books that you want to look at, and then one kind of tertiary third sharp one. Number one, Pinnacle, the sharpest sportsbook in the world, given the heaviest weight, minus 146. That's a good sign. Number two, Bet Online, pricing this at minus 137. Another sharp book. That's a good sign. And then DraftKings, lesser than the other two, still kind of sharp for player props, minus 140. So all three of the sharp books have it, I don't know, what's this, 37 to 28 to 31 cents higher than BetRivers. And the majority of the other sports books are in alignment with them. If all those boxes are checked, that is the sign of a good play, which is this one is. Jaylen Brown under 2.5 made threes. Next up, we are looking at Kelly Olynyk, same sportsbook at BetRivers, under 4.5 rebounds, plus 115 at BetRivers. So the OddsJam perfect line prices this at about plus 110. And if you look at all the other sports books, again, we see a clear outlier. Again, FanDuel is kind of close, but not nearly as close as the last one. Still 13 cents lower. And then let's, step one, look at the sharp ones. Pinnacle, minus 107. That's a good sign. Significantly more favorable than this plus 115 at BetRivers. Bet Online, minus 106. Another good sign. DraftKings, minus 105. Great sign. Every other sportsbook, even the FanDuel line, have this price pretty decently below. And when I say below, I mean more likely to occur, lower payout than the BetRivers line. We see odds range from minus 110, minus 109, minus 110, minus 105, all in alignment that this should be priced a little bit lower than the BetRivers line, which makes this a really good bet. This is play number two, Kelly Olynyk under 4.5 rebounds. Next up, same sportsbook, BetRivers just has horrible player prop odds. We're looking at Derek White to go under 2.5 rebounds. So BetRivers prices this at plus 138. The Novig odds, the OddsJam perfect line, the true line, prices this at plus 133. And look at every other sportsbook. BetRivers is at plus 138. The closest book is FanDuel, 16 cents lower at plus 122. Then we have PointsBet at plus 120. Every other book has it in the teens or even below that. So as of right now, it looks like not every sportsbook is pricing this play, but we have Bet Online at plus 116, Sharp Sportsbook, and pretty much every other book is in alignment closer to them than the BetRivers line. And that's kind of my gauge, right? If every other sportsbook is closer to the Sharp Sportsbook, and those all of them are decently below the bet we are placing, that's a good sign. So that's why I like this one. Derek White under 2.5 rebounds, plus 138 at BetRivers as my third pick for this video. So this Wendell Carter one, I looked at it. The outlier wasn't good enough for me to think it was something that should be bet, so I ended up skipping this one. Next up, we are looking at Mike Conley under 2.5 rebounds. This is at minus 134 odds, again at BetRivers. OddsJam perfect line prices this at minus 138. Look at every other book. Bet Online has this at minus 164. Every other book is in the minus 160s, except for FanDuel, which is at minus 156, still pretty heavily below the BetRivers line, having it significantly more likely to occur. And I do get a lot of questions about the odds themselves, like, hey, why would you place something that's all the way up for plus money like this if it's not likely to hit? Or the same question, but the opposite. Why would you bet something at minus 134 if the payout is so steep, right? If you have to accept so much juice. And my answer is, it's all about the odds you are betting compared to the rest of the market. So I'll bet plus 138 if it's a clear outlier compared to every other sportsbook, just like I'll bet minus 134 if it's a clear outlier. The odds themselves don't matter just if you just solely look at the odds of the bet you're placing. It becomes important when you compare the entire betting landscape. So plus 200 could be a really good bet if everything else has it at plus 150. Just like minus 200 could be a really good bet if everything else has it at minus 250. So you want to compare the odds of the bet you're placing, and that's the most important thing, not blanketly looking at the odds themselves. So this is play number 4, I believe, Mike Conley under 2.5 rebounds. Play number 5, Luka Doncic under 9.5 assists. This is going to be a good game, Pelicans versus Mavericks. You just wish Brandon Ingram and Zion were healthy for the Pelicans, would make it a lot more exciting, but this is going to be a good one. So PointsBet and FanDuel have the same odds at minus 115. Bet Rivers, kind of not really closer at minus 129, still 14 cents higher. Every other book, minus 150, minus 151, minus 145, minus 139, minus 143. I will say you can ignore Monkey Knife Fight because they are a DFS company, so they have the same implied odds for every single play. So you want to look at every other book that prices plays individually. Same scenario here. So Luka under 9.5 assists as my 5th play. And then I believe there's 2 more. I'll go through these quickly. Jason Tatum under 2.5 made. Actually, the odds changed on this one, so no longer available. So I only have 1 more. And we are looking at Draymond Green to go over 22.5 points, rebounds, assists. Minus 104 at Caesars. OddsJam Perfect Line has this at minus 106. Look at every other book. Minus 104 on Caesars. Closest one is FanDuel, 9 cents higher at minus 113. But look at the sharp ones. Minus 122, minus 119, minus 120. With every other book having it either in the teens or at minus 120. Telling you that this Draymond one is a good price. So this is going to be my 5th and final pick for this video, or 6th, I can't remember. But that's going to be it for this video. So for those of you who are tailing all of these picks, comment and let me know. Would love to hear it. And that's all I got. So enjoy the slate tonight and have a good one.